Good evening, Professor Underdown. This is Seth Harrington reporting from upstate New York, where it is currently 29 degrees and we have snow on the ground, probably a little bit different than Arizona. You have to bear with me, I have a bit of a cold and recording from cell phone, which is not ideal. Anyway, I wanted to report on the dispositions to teach. First thing I wanted to say was that I strongly agreed with all of the points on the survey. I think those are all very outstanding points for a teacher to strive for. Having high expectations, goals for the students, reflecting in order to learn, those are great things to have. Now, I want to get down to brass tacks and what dispositions do I possess personally as a teacher. And I would like to think that I possess a caring and compassionate tone and disposition. I make sure that in my classroom, I do teach a few social studies sections in a school, and I'm working towards special ed, but I want to make sure that my students are always feel safe to come to me if they need to talk about anything. I make that clear on day one in my classroom. I let them know that I care about them as people, and I want to see them succeed. I also would like to think that I have a pretty solid sense of humor, and I usually get along with the kids all right with that in respect to things that they find humorous. I tell a lot of jokes. Most of them go over their head, but I catch a few of them that do laugh at them from time to time, so that gets me through my day as well. I enjoy that. I have high expectations in my classroom for the kids. I let them know that also on day one. I want them to do well, and I set goals for them, and I try to make sure that they set goals for themselves, not only for my class, but for other classes and for the future. It's going to be important to set goals. So moving on to section 2, what do I think that I can improve on in school? And since I've been teaching this year, this is my first year teaching. Some things that I've noticed that have always sort of plagued me have been procrastination, number one. I put things off a lot. I don't know why. I don't know if I get some sort of satisfaction out of it, but burning the midnight oil, I usually pay for it the following day or days. I would have done this video sooner, but I put it off. So here we are. Organization is another thing that I can work on. I like to have things pretty well organized. I like a file system, but when I start getting a lot of things at the same time, I kind of put them in places where they shouldn't be, and I lose track occasionally. But I'm getting better with that. I'm also getting better with the procrastination, and I've learned a lot about it during this online session. And I think I've picked up the pace in my studies since the first 2 weeks. I didn't really do that well the first 2 weeks, so I feel like I'm making some improvements there. All right, so what do I think a professional teacher needs to have in order to be successful? What do they look like? I feel like a teacher is a confident person, not arrogant, but confident. They're positive. They're good role models for students. They have goals that they want to achieve, and they let the kids know that as well. They're outgoing in their mannerisms, always there if the student may need them at times of trouble or stress with studies and things like that. As far as physical look and dress are concerned, you take care of yourself in a professional manner, make sure you're well groomed, but not to the extent that you're making anybody feel bad by overdressing. But a professional has to look professional. That's just the way that it goes. But certainly, being comfortable in your own skin is important. And it's nice to show that to the kids as well. And they'll feel comfortable if you feel comfortable about yourself. I think some of the standards in the INTAS system are very good for teachers to strive. I wrote a couple notes down here. Continuing on education in standards and professionalism, standard number 9 and 10 there. Continuing being looking toward new forms of education, self-improvement, self-assessment, working with your colleagues in order to accomplish goals in the classroom are very important. I'd like to close by saying it's been a pleasure to be in the class. I would like to think that this has been a good starting point for me, and I would continue to make improvements on my studies and taking everything seriously and not putting things off in the future, because I'm enjoying what I'm learning about, and I'm looking forward to having special education in my field of studies and in my work environment as well. So thank you for the class, and take care.